Greetings, comrades, and welcome to How the Red Was Won, a podcast about organizing in the South, Texas fascism, and how to fight back. I'm your host, Jen Big Nasty, and just a reminder, I don't run ads on this, so if you like what you hear, go and check out the Patreon. $5 gets you a lot. You get special episodes just for you, as well as early release on all the regular episodes. So if you can, please check out the Patreon. So recently, I've done some heavier episodes, some theory episodes, but sometimes it's a good idea just to take a step back and have a little lighter discussion about pop culture. So today I have brought on Freddy G, who you might know from the Vanquish podcast. I actually know him from Twitter and TikTok, where he has been making videos that are one-sentence summaries of each chapter of Capital, which is quite an impressive feat, honestly. Taking something that is 100 pages, like chapter 3, and boiling that down to one sentence and still getting the point across is quite a skill. So, Freddy, thank you so much for coming. Welcome.
Oh yeah, so happy to be here. Yeah, I like doing that because it's a book. It's a very wise book, but it feels like it was not written with at least with today's workers in mind. I don't think they would get through a lot of it. When I read it. When you read it and there's linen at the beginning, I think you're gonna lose 90% of the workers with the linen. So I figured people can get the wisdom that's in there.
You're like, how many coats am I making?
Yeah. I mean, it was when I read it the first time. I'm saying this jokingly, but it's like, oh, Marx was autistic. You know what I mean? So,
and his the thing he focused on was capitalism.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like he never even worked. Like, he didn't work like one of those factory jobs. He was just obsessed with it. Yeah. Anyway, which is really admirable.
Yeah, very cool. But we are not talking about Marx's Capital today. We are going to talk about the television show Severance. So I know the show has been out for a couple years now, right? The second season, I think, came out earlier this year, like in the spring. I didn't watch any of it until a month ago. I got COVID and was actually stuck in this room right here for 9 days, and I binged the entire thing and kind of had my mind blown by it. And I was like, I need to talk to somebody about this show. And Freddie hit me up on Twitter and was like, I would also like to talk about this show. So yeah. Thank you for doing this, and this should be fun, and I mean, we're definitely going to talk about some Marxist ideas, obviously, in our critique of it, but, less heavy than just reading theory, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You know what it is? Yeah, because, the working day severs, you sever part of your hours to go make a surplus value for the boss, so.
That's right.
And if you hate it enough, maybe you're like, well, I don't want to remember those hours. Let me just go to work, and then I'll wake up 8 hours later like I just had surgery.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I kind of get it. It seems like most people regret doing it for one reason or another, but, like, I can understand the reason someone might think about it in the first place. And, like, we're not going to give a summary of this show. It is 20 episodes. An hour plus each. We're not going to go through the whole thing. We are going to assume that anyone listening to this has watched it or doesn't care to watch it. So lots of spoilers. If you want to watch it, pause, go do that, and come back. I wanted to start off talking about just like office jobs in general. Are you an office worker? Have you had?
Oh, I've had it.
Jobs?
Yeah. So I did 12 years in finance. I'm probably rare among guests for your pod. I became more left leaning. What do you call it? So I wanted to be a comedian. I saved up money for 6 years, and I stopped doing finance in 2018. Also, Trump won. I got more political. Then COVID happened. I started reading a lot of books, and then I became a leftist. I definitely experienced it. And you are severing a part of yourself. I know, I think a lot of black people work in offices will be like, well, I have to code switch for the office. You have to be a different person.
Mm-hmm.
There's that. There's jobs where they didn't know I was a comedian, so you're severing that part of yourself. You're being agreeable. Yeah, so the severance is real at those jobs. Even you can't wear something fun. You got to wear a certain kind of, you got to dress a certain way to go to the office. It's all, you're very much severed.
Yeah. So I briefly had an office job. The work was, what did they say? It's important, and what do they call it?
Mysterious and important. The work is mysterious. It's very funny that. Yeah, the show technically is a comedy, yeah.
Yeah. I literally, right when I graduated high school, I worked in a check processing company that was above a bank. When I first signed on, I got a hiring bonus that if I made it 3 months, I got to keep it. I did not make it 3 months. It was
Damn.
fucking terrible. I was just like, okay, not an office person, and I just went back to like working in restaurants, and then I bartended for the next decade and a half. Which also you could probably sever yourself from that too and be a happier person, but for a lot different reasons. But do you find that offices are like this, like the structure of it, the conformity of it, the bright lights, the weird hallways, the like, having to take bathroom breaks at certain times? Did you have an experience like that, or is that kind of
It's
different for the
no,
show?
the bright hallways are big. Yeah, the structure. Yeah, the babying, like having meaningless awards to make everyone feel good, like
Right.
annoying. They don't do the long meetings. The show The Office is better at the pointless meetings,
Mm-hmm.
at showing those. But yeah, the babying's a lot. The bathroom breaks. I had weird. I mean, I pee a lot at the office. I also one job had free seltzer, so I would just pound the seltzers and then go pee every half an hour,
Hell
and
yeah.
that was nice. But then there's like weird things that you're peeing and pooping. The people you work with. Like yeah, people will comment on if you eat tuna fish, people comment. Oh, you're wearing too much cologne. I think I got once. I mean, I'm weird, so yeah, all kinds of People will comment on all kinds of things, or yeah, like people. I think one time I was washing my hands in the bathroom. I'm not one of those people, but some guy didn't like how long I washed my hands, and he told my boss. It was like all kinds of awkward things.
Oh
So
shit.
yeah, I didn't get in
Wow.
trouble, but yeah, well, yeah, there is that. But yeah, I luckily didn't have a job we had to ask to go to the bathroom. But I'm sure, yeah, those definitely exist. Or there's jobs. I think, yeah, there's jobs where you just gotta hold it. Even as a teacher, I think my dad was like, "Well, you're supposed to really go in between the periods or something."
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like that, like waiting tables for sure, right? You're in the middle of a rush. Like, if you can't have somebody like, hey, can you watch my tables for 3 minutes? Like, you have to just hold it. Work in general. Anybody that's trying to control your bodily functions, that seems like a bad time, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I had unpaid like comedy club work in the door to like do spots, and like you
Mm.
have to watch the door, so you have to get someone else to cover if you have to go pee. And one guy got mad at me when I asked him to cover, and all kinds of things. Then people snuck out, and I got in trouble. I don't think I was
Oh, shit.
peeing, but whatever. Yeah, all kinds of. It's like, oh, we lost money. It's like, we don't pay me. Yeah, all kinds of crap like that. So yeah, yeah, that is the thing. Doing comedy, it got me a little closer to the service industry, at least where I was like among the service workers and doing little bits of it. 'Cause,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was more disconnected in the office till then.
Yeah. So this, in the show, right? Lumen is the name of the company, right? And they have this. I mean, it's a chip, right, that they put in people's heads, and like it obviously is fantastical. Like this is not a thing that yet exists in our society, but like the way it works or whatever, it like severs like a part of your brain and a part of your memory. And it the way these people are treated when they're at work, they're very much infantilized, right? You mentioned like the silly little they get like the waffle party or like the little finger trap toys or stuff, right? For like doing good. Like it's so childish. But like so much of what they sever is like what makes you who you are, right? It's your entire life experiences to this point and puts you like as a blank check, just fully like open to okay, this is how it is. Like you just believe everything that your boss tells you. So it seems ideal for a business owner to have a staff that exists like that, right? And in so many ways, these people are childish, right? In the last episode, Helly and Mark are talking, and she's like, I'm trying to think of other places. And she's like, Zimbabwe, Europe, the equator. And they're discussing what they think the equator is. Like, they have this word, but they don't know what it means. So, like, in so many ways, they're children, right? They go on the outside trip, right? And Millicek is like, this is the largest waterfall in the world. And it's not, right? But they don't know that. And so they're able to just be manipulated and lied to by the company for the purpose of doing this job that is mysterious and important, right?
It is weird. Yeah, they're kind of having a weird view on education. Because, okay, like, I assume you need a college degree to go to Lumen. It's not said, but it's got that vibe.
Yeah.
And then they are severing you from things you learned in college, such as geography. So it's a weird, yeah, there's a weird breakup. I also do kind of think it's kind of a little like born-again Christianity. Like, you die and you're born again as, like, the perfect multiple employee. Well, you're sort of born again as a 22-year-old. 22-year-olds are out of college. They're ready to do whatever for the company. They think everything is cool. They're like, oh, they gave me a sign-in. Not you, you were immune to it, but they gave me a sign-in bonus, so I'm going to love this company and work hard for this company and earn it back, make sure they earn it back. So, yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, they're just such perfect little workers, right? When, what is his name? Bert, Christopher Walken's character, when they're at dinner with his husband and Irving, and he talks about why he severed. And it was because he had done a lot of, like, bad things in his life, which is just not talked about. But, like, Christopher Walken always plays, like, a shady character. So we're just imagining the things that Christopher Walken may have done. And he severs because that part of him is going to be innocent, right? Is not going to have done all of those things with the idea that innocent part of him can still go to heaven when he dies. Which it makes a really good point, like what you just said about, like, being born again, essentially.
Yeah, and they have a religion. Yeah, it's like the cult of Keir or whatever. Keir was the founder, the first Egan or whatever. And yeah, every company is like a cult of the founder. I worked at Capital One, and the founder was still there, so there was very much a cult, oh, we have these good values, but Capital One's actually a credit card company that sues that sues the people who owe it money the most or whatever.
Right.
I worked at Morgan Stanley, and we had a Jesus-like figure. This guy John Mack, he had left the company and he'd just come back, so it was very much like he came back to save the company, like Jesus. So yeah, the cult of the founder or the CEO is very real at these companies.
Yeah, that was actually exactly what I wanted to go into. Like, is Lumen a cult? And I mean, I think, like, obviously, like, they play into it, right? At one point, Harmony, Patricia Arquette's character, is singing a song about the founder, right? And it's very, like, Christmas Carol kind of sounding. Yeah, very
strange. She prays to him, I think. She's praying.
She's has, like, an altar.
Reinforces that it's a religion, yeah. What do you call it? Yeah, Irving is kind of into it and respectful, but it's a little more secular for him. For her, she's full in. And she joined the company as a single-digit age child. We know that. So, yeah, she grew up in that religion.
Yeah, and then there's this idea, it seems to me that it's also like a company town, right? Like, Mark lives in, like, these row houses that are fairly empty, actually. There's not a lot of people around him, but it's, like, Lumen housing, right? Where it's, like, it seems like the whole town is basically, if they don't work there, they work for something that, like, supports it. Like, it very much is the only thing in that. And it's never stated what town it is. It's cold as fuck there. It's, like, snowing constantly through this whole show.
Yeah.
So my best guess was, like, Wisconsin was in my head.
Just because I'm a New Yorker, I was like, oh, Buffalo or whatever. Though I did go to Buffalo this summer, and it was kind of nice.
Summer, though, not winter, when this show is taking place.
Oh, yeah, that's me also. Yeah, there's no, if they have if they have an NFL team, they don't show it. Yeah. The people don't really have, there's not that many hobbies there. They're pretty, it's like, oh, you get to sit at the VIP section of, like, the really lame restaurant or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lack of hobbies on this show other than the one guy writes the self-help book, if that counts. So I don't know, it becomes a career for him, so.
It does, yeah. Yeah, something about a company towns also, when Harmony, like, goes back to her childhood home, it's like a ruined town where, like, the Lumen factory had been there. And it was like an ether factory. And I don't know much about ether, except that everybody in that town was huffing it. I don't know what that feels like. That is a drug I have never tried. It doesn't look interesting to me. But
I thought of it as a thing that just makes you pass out. Like, someone gets ether, like it was old-fashioned it might have been old-fashioned roofies or something, yeah.
Or like how a gangster kidnapped somebody in the 1920s. Yeah. But it seemed like Lumen had been in that town, right? And that's where she was, I don't know, taken or like raised by the company in some strange way as a child. But then the company moved out and into the place that it is now. And that town is just like left in ruin, right? Like everybody is addicted and there's like just like nothing left, right? Which, that's what companies do. That's what factories do when they close. Ruin the place.
We got closed factory towns in America, and they're on. They have meth labs or opiate addictions or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's cool that they tied that. Yeah, they don't have a specific like year that it's supposed to be or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's either topical or tied to American history, like you said, with the factory towns and the company towns, which is a little bit more of a late 1800s thing.
Yeah. This is interesting that you said they never say what year it is. And I wrote that in my notes like 3 or 4 times. Like, what fucking year is it? And like, all of the cars are old. They're like late 80s, early 90s models. There's no cell phones. The computers are all very, very like the IBMs we had in my elementary school looking, right? Like, it's almost like when you watch like original Trek, the way they picture the future with these like which is only like 20 or 30 years in the future, right? The technology they have there, which is
initially I was just like, just get AI to sort the numbers and then you don't need to sever everybody. But then they made that it's a human connection or whatever, because their job seems very silly because it's like it's just number sorting, and I figured a computer could probably do it, though right. Like I said, it's well explained. Because the Cold Harbor is not a harbor, but a part of a person.
Right. Yeah, and this that Gemma was severed like 25 different times. It seems like she's the only person, at least so far that we've met, that has had it. And I wonder if they have put that many chips in that poor lady's brain, or if it's more of these situations that they're putting her in, and that's what like differentiates. It's it's not explained yet.
Look at that. Yeah, it'd be crazy as all those chips and then they start melting or whatever, or like her head just weighs too much.
It's so heavy with all
in general, there is a thing that they believe in Lumen, either for the plot or because they believe in it. They believe in the severance, so there's like very limited security. Even like, well, if Mark lives in Lumen housing, why is there not cameras? So there is something like that, where they keep it simple, where Lumen's evil because of severance, but then there's other things a modern security state would be doing, like his Amazon Echo. Like Mark would have an Amazon Echo that might have like foiled all his plots right away if it was this world.
That is interesting, because there are definitely cameras all over the office building itself, right? Because they're being watched constantly. But it is interesting that, and they put his boss next door to him and he didn't realize that. So that is definitely part of, like, surveilling him. But yeah, they neglected to, put a tracker in his car or anything like that, which you would think, as evil as this company is made out to be, that they would have taken that next step, right?
Yeah, the best another funny line in the show is, Harmony does something as a lactation consultant, and then she gets accused of lactation fraud, which I thought was a really funny line.
Yeah, that is a funny line. 'Cause like, what is she even really trained to do? She's a mystery. Patricia Arquette's great. She kills that role. She's terrifying.
Oh yeah, it's a really good. Yeah, that is the thing. Yeah, a lot of good performances, and everyone's kind of different, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Like, like it's, and even just like, okay, Dylan is not hot. You know what I mean? Like, it's not all hot people. Mm-hmm. It's people of different, I mean, a lot of the cast is hot in their own way, but they're not all hot in the same way. It's not like Friends, where it's like 3 brown-haired guys who all could be male models.
I spent the first season going, is Adam Scott hot? Because I couldn't figure it out. And then I went and watched a bunch of other videos, like interviews with him, and I was like, okay, Adam Scott is hot. He's hot in the way that David Tennant is, which is that like kind of skinny, nerdy guy way. I don't know.
I think in real life, I don't know David Tennant that well. In real life, he would clean up. So he's not necessarily TV hot. Like, he wasn't like too hot for Leslie Knope. Because Leslie Knope is, a little bit of a nerd, whatever. But in real life, he's hot. It might also, there is a thing of being hot where everyone else thinks that no one else is attracted to them. Like Tina Fey in the 2000s, it was like, every guy was like, oh, I'm into Tina Fey, but no one else is. And that's kind of an ability. People like to think they just discovered that you're hot. and she had that. She probably still does as well. So yeah, Tina, old Tina Fey is now she's still doing SNL. So yeah, Tina Fey's still hot, I say.
I think that she was just on it like yesterday. Her and I saw clips pop up on YouTube that they were both on SNL last night.
She played Kristi Noem. It's like a callback to Palin, and like of course that's going to save America. Yeah, because the libs are still kind of stuck in the Obama era. That's something I forgot to tweet, but yeah. So yeah, Tina Fey still doing cameos on SNL.
I love it. I know it's extremely lib coded, and you know what, people can enjoy things, and I enjoy. In 2008, I was Sarah Palin for Halloween. But I did a Tina Fey Sarah Palin. It was so much fun. I stayed in character all night, but we went to this one bar and people were like, "Hey, I voted for you." And I was like, "We have to go. These people are not our people. We can't be here."
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, that was annoying. Yeah, people really liked her. She showed us how to vote because she was the most off-putting to me. And now they have a million Republican women like that, like all the press secretaries or whatever. But yeah, people really, a lot of people really liked her. And yeah, I just find it completely off-putting. So there is, she shows us how polarized we are.
Yeah.
Because John McCain sort of a lot of people maybe thought the same way about him, but she had very opposite reactions.
Yeah, people respected McCain at least. But the point that you were making about the attractiveness, quote unquote, of the staff, something I really liked about Dylan's character is his innie at least thought that he was super hot, right? And he was just like, I bet my Audi's a bodybuilder. And he's just like this kind of like rotund, out of shape little guy. And I'm sure he's strong, but like the fact that he was like, yeah, my Audi like gets all the chicks and stuff. Like I absolutely love that about him.
His build is definitely that because his wife has 2 or 3 kids, that he gained a lot of sympathy weight.
Yeah.
That is his vibe. Yeah, and then you find out about his Audi's kind of a loser and his innie's more of a winner, which is kind of interesting. And then the wife sort of likes the innie better. To me, I feel like if your spouse can sleep with your innie also. To me, I don't think that's cheating. It's also more convenient because if your innie and your Audi have different significant others, then eventually that's not going to work out, which is Mark's problem. But yeah, like I think that's great that she likes both of them. So then if they reconfigure, then they just marry to her. Yeah, it works. Yeah, we're going to get a happy ending for Dylan, I think.
I even had that on my notes too. Was Gretchen cheating? And I on the same page as you. They're literally the same person, and she even liked the innie because he had that like more innocent quality, that more like childlike wonder. And, a lot of it is because he doesn't know any other women. He knew what his boss and Helly, right? So, like, when he met her and he's like, well, she's already technically, like, married to me, right? Like, she's into me. This woman is fucking magical, right? Like, obviously he's into her. And she
There is a thing, honestly, that's not realistic. Helly would be getting sexually harassed. She's the only woman there.
Yeah.
Dylan, in real life, Dylan would be saying creepy stuff to Helly, or at least trying to put the moves on her. Mark would not have would have been like, "Oh, Mark, she's yours. I'll just be with nobody."
Right.
Because there's only one woman there the whole time.
So. Yeah, and at least Irving's gay, so he's not going to do it. So that's a good point. There is no sexual harassment in this office, so we got to give it to them for that. At least we got to hand it to Lumen. They've gotten rid of the sexual harassment problem.
Yeah, Milacek is on. Like Milacek is in a powerful. He could easily Me Too somebody, even one of the guys. I mean, he's a good-looking guy. He's their boss. He gives them treats. Like he could be Me Tooing. Milacek, the sexual harassment training that I assume he had before season 1 really worked out.
And what's funny is that because they're severed, they're stuck there. They don't remember when they go home. They could be getting all kinds of sexually harassed and assaulted, and nobody would ever it's the perfect company to do that, and the fact that it doesn't happen is interesting, right? Yeah, Milacek, very good looking, very strong, could probably get away with anything he wanted to, but he doesn't want to, at least.
Yeah, and he's musically inclined. Assuming he could do other instruments, he could be like playing guitar, you know what I mean, at the thing, and impressing everybody. Yeah, they could be doing sing-alongs. Yeah, it's him having musical ability. Hopefully they use that more in the next season, because that's a stud move to be able to play a musical instrument. I know I can't.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not musical at all. I can tap dance. That's kind of like playing an instrument with my feet.
No, that counts. That would be cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, if he started tap, that would honestly be a good thing. Yeah, I wanna write a spec script where he tap dances because we know he has rhythm from the drumming, and yeah, maybe he used to be a skinny kid who danced or ballet. I kind of want to see him ballet, but I'll take tap dancing.
Interesting. Yeah. Let's talk about Milicek a little bit. He's such an interesting character. And, in season 2, he gets promoted to the Severance floor manager. He's like their boss rather than just being more like the security enforcer, I think is what he was in season 1. And so, and he's a black man. And when he gets promoted, they send him. So the office is full of these like Renaissance looking paintings, these like oil paintings of Keir Egan, the founder, and of his family and his whole story. And it's all very ridiculous. But it's supposed to be like inspirational, and we all want to be like Keir. And so when they promote him as like a gift to him, they sent him this stack of paintings that are all of Keir, but now he's black. So basically they put their founder in blackface in a way to show their appreciation for Milcek, and he obviously has a lot of problems with it. He doesn't really say anything about it, but you can tell it is super fucked up, and he knows that it's super fucked up. He's not severed, right? He has full memory of history and of the outside world. So he understands how inappropriate this is. But yeah.
That is a weird thing also, yeah, because if they're severed, they might not remember civil rights. They might they might be saying things about skin color. Like a kid might be like, "Why is your skin a different color?" They could be, they could be saying all kinds of things. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't. If they don't know about like different state names, they might not know about slavery. Like How would you know? Honestly, if you can't name states, how would you know about the Civil War? There's all kinds of all kinds of potential outtakes. And yeah, the company's kind of bold because it's run by the Egans. They're lily white. They seem like a family where they're probably supposed to marry other rich white people. So the company actually will always be run by white people. So the painting is fake because they're not going to have a black leader. It even reminds me a little of Israel, where there's Jews of a lot of different colors there, but it's always been run by Ashkenazi Jews at the top levels.
That's interesting. It's kind of like a apartheid in the company, I guess. Yeah. Something else, just on the race thing. In that last episode, when the band was playing, first of all, that was an incredible scene. It was such an insane finale. And the band was also like majority black. I made a note to kind of check out like who was in the band. And this idea of Milcek as the boss, as like one of the only black men in a like leadership position in the company, the way he was like performing, right? And like doing this big dance number and leading the band, and it very much had that like what is the word I'm like, not minstrel show, but like almost adjacent to that, right? To where they're making this man perform for this like white company in a way that he probably isn't comfortable with. I don't know, it was interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing like where this character goes, and like the way he internalizes, the way he has to act for these people, and like I'm hoping that he also rebels coming soon, right?
That would make sense if they had Harmony rebel. Yeah, there's patterns you see. Yeah, there's usually a big white security guy who gets killed each season, and then he could rebel. And then there's the other thing. Yeah, there's definitely that. There's a nice worker solidarity moment because the band guys decide to join with the resistance and don't, because you're like, they have a whole band but no security, and the band could have functioned as a security force. They have Dylan and Helly are out muscled, but they decide to stick with them, which is nice. And against Milcek, against their leader, which is weird.
Yeah. And it's because Helly stands up and convinces them. She gives this roaring speech about how they've had friends disappear, and she knows that these other guys have had friends disappear. And I wrote it down what she said. They give us half a life and think we won't fight for it. Nice. Yeah, it was so good. And so that brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about. Like, is this show a critique of capitalism? Or is it just like, hey, look at this fucked up company? Because I feel like there are... And, as a Marxist, we can read Marxist themes into literally anything. It is a superpower once you've done the theory reading. And I think a lot of things that are a critique of an aspect of capitalism aren't necessarily really trying to take it a step further, and maybe like I'm just seeing that there because I want to see it there. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it is a critique of capitalism, but yeah, it's not necessarily trying to take you any way further.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty. It seems like a very beige show, but then it's Ben Stiller like that. You know what I mean? I think I don't. Ben Stiller, like supposedly there's writer's strikes and he's in the union, but he'll cross the picket line. I heard something about that on Twitter. I mean, if it's not true, don't blame me. It's just hearsay, whatever. But like I know, and supposedly he's pretty into Zionism. Like so he's able to take on this situation. It's even weird Ben Stiller being so involved because he's never had a regular job. He's always been a rich kid. Got into the acting through his family. Mm-hmm. So it is kind of cool that he's able to tell this story without having necessarily experienced it. He definitely never would have needed to have an office job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he directed the entire first season. Is he a writer as well? There's another guy.
I am confused if it's his baby or if it's someone else's. But I just know he's heavily involved in this show that is probably I wouldn't think Ben Stiller would do such a show that had even seemed at all based or whatever.
It's a guy named
he's a comedy guy.
A guy named Dan Erickson is the main writer.
That makes sense. Yeah. Also, the thing is, if you're in a good position like Ben Stiller, been in a lot of movies, all that, lots of money, you then could look at a bunch of people's scripts or what they want to do and pick the best one. So he had good taste to pick it. But maybe Dan had a more down to earth life.
Yeah.
I feel bad I didn't know his name till now.
I forgot it as well. I mean, Ben Stiller is obviously very famous. We've seen him in movies and stuff, so it makes sense to know him. So I want to talk about Rickon, the brother-in-law. So Mark S.'s sister, Devin, is married to a guy named Rickon who is extremely annoying. He's definitely, we've all known people like this, a nice person, a genuinely nice person, but talks about climbing mountains and stuff, and he's always he's a little bit braggadocious. He thinks he's very, very smart. And I'm sure he is. The character is intelligent. And he's a writer, right? So he wrote this self-help kind of book that honestly, it's so fucking cheesy. It's so absurdly, basic. The most basic of the first self-help books that came out in, the 1970s, right? Just, very cheesy. I wish I had written down some lines from it.
I don't remember it, but self-help books are kind of like that. Jordan Peterson, and I never read his books, but his thing is make your bed every day.
Right.
Which is clearly he didn't invent that. Obviously the army does that. You know what I mean? A million people have been you should make your bed. So there is a level of self-help books, a lot of obvious stuff. I mean, I read a lot of them in my life. Some probably helped. A little bit, but it is worse than most self-help books, but it is also a good critique of those books because there's a lot of obvious ones in there.
Yeah. So then the thing is he drops off an early copy to Mark, but his neighbor, who's his boss, Harmony, takes it, and they take him to the office, and it seems like they accidentally left it somewhere where they could find it. It's funny how these bosses, they keep everything so very, everything's so very controlled in this environment. And then they, left this, paraphernalia, essentially, out where our whole little crew found it. And they all read it. And were, radicalized by it, right? It is they read State and Revolution. And they're, fucking mind blown. There's a quote in it, I found someone that I did write down. Our job is to taste free air. Your so-called boss may own the clock on the wall, but my friends, the hour is yours. Which to the person that's been severed and knows nothing but this office life, that is fucking revolutionary because they've never tasted fresh air, right?
That is a good point when they sever. I don't know how they pick what you get to keep or whatever. They're vague on that. It's not like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind where the whole movie is that.
Yeah.
And obviously that is, there's a lot of parallels in these stories. But they probably do try to keep the stuff any Marxist stuff or any pro-worker, what a union is. They probably keep that on the other side of the severed barrier. if they
they definitely don't know what a union is. Like, there's no way they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird how
Ben
they...
Stiller might not want us to know, so.
Yeah, right? How, when it very first starts, when Helly is very first severed, and one of the questions is, what color were your mother's eyes? And, like, that's not a thing that they remember, right? That's a part of them that's severed, like, any memory of their family, or their, like, actual life. But, yeah, like, the fact that, like, they probably have a college education. They can at least read and write and do math. So, again, it's science fiction, so, like, you can pick and choose whatever you want from it. But
their jobs are simple. The actual jobs they do, like, the number thing is simple. It's emotional. The art department, and I don't know, like, what they really need to know. So it is helpful that no one has, like, this very technical job. Like, it's not like a severed engineer building, like, like designing the build. Like, the guy who designed the building wasn't severed, because for that you might need a lot of experience.
Yeah. Or raising goats, I guess. That's all you do. You raise little baby goats.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I wouldn't have known that before I got the job. She might have just been, like, a normal Scottish woman looking for an office job, and then they just trained her in it. So, yeah, that you would get learned from scratch. It doesn't matter what you learned in school, because school is designed for non-goat herders.
For non-goat herders, yeah. Do we think that Rickon is a Marxist, or is he just kind of like a quasi-intellectual that kind of pulls from other things?
Yeah, he's a poser. I do like Rickon. That's the role I would probably get cast as. Like, he's sweet, but he's a little over the top, and he has a beard. I think Rickon. Yeah, he's the thing with Rickon is he is good. He has a lot of friends, so, like, he does get along with people. He's not self-aware, but he is loved.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, she seems happy with him, and they had a kid. It's annoying, the humor with the book. I guess the book is at least harmless. Now, at season 2, the book might be being used for harm. Mm-hmm. But in the first season, it's like, well, this book is sweet. At least he's not writing, like, anything sexist or whatever. So that's pretty, the other guys are watching YouTube videos and getting radicalized, and Rickon's not. Assuming they have YouTube in this universe.
I don't think they do.
They do.
I don't think they do.
They can't watch this podcast.
Yeah, they only have, they can't watch this. They only have, 1986, IBM computers. I don't think they have YouTube.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, people are way more into books in that universe. Yeah, they only have physical books. But yeah, at least his book is, it's kind of sweet, and he's trying to be nice to people. There's, like, a certain empathy that he's writing with, even if he's not self-aware.
Yeah, and I think the book is called The You Know, or The You Are. I can't find it. It's something, the word you is back to back, The You Know. And, like, Rickon and Devin, right, Mark's sister and brother-in-law, are pretty anti-Lumen, anti-Severance. They don't work for the company like most of the people in the town do. And so, like, the book does seem, this quote about your job is to taste fresh air, like, it does seem like it's anti-Severance and kind of pro-worker, quote-unquote, which is why, like, they're so inspired by it, right? But then in season 2, that woman, I think her name's Natalie, that is, like, the go-between between, like, the board of directors and everybody else, shows up at his house and proposes to Rickon to write a new version of the book that is very, like, Lumen positive, like, specifically for the innies, right? Essentially to kneecap it, right? And make it to where it's not revolutionary to them, and to where it's actually like, this is good, we're happy to be here, right? And he, like, immediately sells out, which is why I guess he's not actually a Marxist. He may have read a little bit of it, but he's, like, not fully there, because he immediately is like, and, like, Devin gets mad at him about it, but he's like, this is, like, the most money, like, I will ever be offered. Like, why would I not take this?
I sort of think he's not a Marxist. He thinks he invented his own Marxism, but he doesn't really have a class consciousness.
That's probably exactly
it's sort of his vibe, yeah. Like, he's got that ignorance, yeah. Like, you'll see that a lot, yeah. You'll see, like, comedy in smaller markets. They might be telling jokes they think are more original, but sometimes they just don't know that much, yeah. It's a little bit of innocence to it. Not that people in small markets can't be funny, but, yeah. But sometimes you do see that. Even just new comics in New York, same thing.
Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Okay, Rickon, not a Marxist, still annoying. Like, the most annoying motherfucker. When Devin's giving birth, and every time she's having contractions, he's like, we have to tell a secret. He's so weird. Do we think Helly is redeemable? Or do we think the whole Egan clan should just face the wall?
Oh, I want to. Yeah, I want to redeem her. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it can't work out well. Because they're just the two of them are sharing a body. She can't be permanently severed. There is a thing of the reason Helly's such a badass is because like Helena was probably mean and spoiled, and you can't unsever that.
Yeah.
So she's just been like, oh, I don't have to have a job. She knew she was too good for the job right away. That is the cool tragic thing. They may not be able to resolve it. There is a chance the show stops being good after a couple seasons if they get too many contradictions. But yeah, there is the thing of just like that. This woman Heliar is great. Everyone loves her, and then she can't exist in the real world.
Right, because I find her Helena, right, her Audi, to be interesting. Obviously she's a bad person and is like next in line to be the head of this horrible company. But like her dad is such a monster. And in the last episode when he goes and visits Helly at work, he says, I never loved my daughter. Like, she obviously, like, was just raised in this very cold, horrible environment and, like, groomed into being just the head of this company, and, like, that's literally it. And when she, at the beginning of season 2, when she goes back to the severed floor, but she is still her Audi, right? They have, like, the...
Yeah.
Glasgow block or whatever they call it. And she's pretending to be Helly, right? She tricks everybody except for Irving. And in that scene where her and Mark hook up, right, where they're in the tent, and I had the thought that I really think that because Helena has lived this very privileged but very directed life, right? I was like, I think that was also her first time. Like, I think she might have been a virgin. Oh, and that's why she went along with it and was into it, because I wrote down somewhere, because no one's ever loved her, because her dad doesn't love her, her family is cold, and all she's ever known is this, like, company life. This experience of being with Mark, who does care about her, and he has all this, like, childlike innocence, right, because the innies are kind of children. It was very, like, exciting to her, right? And, like, nobody's ever given a shit about her as a person, and for her to be able to feel that and experience that, I don't think she wanted to give that up, right? I think in some way she might have been willing to, like, trade it, and to, like, give up her Audi life of privilege and have this relationship, this people that care about her.
Yeah, there is a thing. She kind of reminds me of the movie I recently saw, Coming to America. I recently rewatched it. That nice. She wants someone who doesn't know that she's the head of the company. Mm-hmm. So there might have been... guys are probably always trying to get with her to be the new king of the company. They might even think that, like, well, she's a woman, so I'll be the real king. A little William and Mary in England situation. Mm-hmm. And, so this was her chance. So she got to, like, kind of Coming to America. Yeah, it is weird. Yeah, Adam Scott's Innie has two women. Well, I guess he has two women in the same body who love him. But then he has the other one. Yeah, it does perfectly. It is perfectly set up for love triangles. The Severance. Yeah,
because there's like 3 love triangles. Like all of the characters get to be involved in a love triangle. And most of them just with themselves. The Christopher Walken one, the Irving and Bert, is really interesting, and Irving's character is interesting because his Audi has these, like, visions, right, when he paints, and he always plays Motorhead Ace of Spades very loud, and does this, like, black oil painting of, like, that hallway that Gemma is down, and so he obviously, like, some of it is seeping through, right, but then they have that dinner with Bert and his husband. I think his name is Fields. Such a weird name. I've never met anybody with that name. And it goes fairly well. Like, it seems like they're all ready to be friendly. And Fields gets a little drunk, and he's like, look, I think the innies do deserve love. And he obviously is not super happy about his husband having somebody to love on the inside, but, like, understands it. But then at the end of the season... Christopher Walken shows up and, like, kind of makes him and his dog get in the car, and he's like, we're going for a ride. And, like, just takes him to the train station, buys him a ticket, and, like, sends him down the road. And I was just like, what the fuck? Why? Where is he going?
I think maybe he knows he's evil. I do, for some reason, I find that storyline boring. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. There's just something like they're both outies or whatever. I like them as innies. I mean, it makes sense that they're as. It sort of felt, to me, somewhat it felt like, well, we're keeping these guys on the show. Because, of course, these are great actors, and John Turturro, and we got to keep them on the show. But, it didn't have the same tension for me. Something might come out better later.
Yeah, I mean, something's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, and other people I think found it more romantic or whatever. But it's like, and I guess, ideally all three of these people could be a couple, or they could get unsevered or whatever, though they don't know about the unseverance. The unseverance is an issue because, it's in the beginning of the show, and then they sort of backed away from it a little bit in the finale, and it is a little confusing. Can you get unsevered? Do you die? Does it merge? How long does it take? They're a little fuzzy with the unsevering.
Yeah, well, because I think they honestly don't know. I mean, it killed... Yeah. What was his name? I don't know, his best friend. I think his name started with a B. Yeah, it killed him. I do really like that doctor lady. The brain surgery doctor. I forget her name. But she murders that guy in the first season, and, like, it's just like, no, I have to do this, and Mark is, like, super freaked out. Doesn't want to do it until he finds out that his wife is still alive, right? And then he's like, basement brain surgery, let's fucking go. Yeah. Like, into it.
She could have a spin-off action show. Yeah, the wife still being alive is very cool. It does make the show a little bit different, because initially the show seemed like it was about grieving. Mm-hmm. But instead it's about this company just decided to trick you into working for them. So it made the company more evil, but it made the story a little more fantastical and a little bit less human. Because that is interesting. If, like, a grieving person, would you do that and does it make sense or whatever? And can you come back together as one person? Mm-hmm. But instead it's like, no, the company was wrong to do that, and also now I'm in love with Helly, and it's like a bit different.
Yeah, and it hasn't explained why Mark and Gemma are so special. Like, why these two particular people were chosen to do this experiment on, or whatever it is. Like, what's so special about Gemma that she is the one that, like, they went to all this trouble to, like, fake her death in a car accident, have a corpse for him to identify that he thought was her. Like, they went to a lot of trouble for this one specific woman and her husband. Like, what is so special about them? I don't know. I don't know.
Gonna say, I mean, his name is Scout, so he scouts things. But that is unclear. Yeah, and I don't know if they'll explain it or just kind of they just randomly they were the ones who were the most vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what the source of her fertility problems were and all that. Fertility was interesting. There was a chance, and people were talking about this, that Helly would have gotten pregnant, and there was a chance to have Helly get pregnant, and theoretically it could have been twins. One was conceived while it was Helena, and one was conceived while it was Helly, and then they become like a good and evil twin. There was like room for that. I kind of like that they didn't do that annoying pregnancy surprise thing, but there was a chance for that. That he could have had twins conceived by different mothers, which is twins by different mothers is never happened, so that's kind of cool.
It's literally Star Wars. That's like Vader's kid, like Luke and Leia. Like, I hadn't even considered that there might be a pregnancy aspect. Because he banged the innie and the outie.
And within a few days, there'll be enough time. I think my friend on TikTok, Cat2 King, came up with that. But also, there's always, they love, the people love to have a pregnancy twist or whatever on TV shows. And usually the woman will consider getting an abortion but not actually get one.
Every time.
Even if you see her on the table, she then decided not to. You almost always there's no abortion. Joan on Mad Men was a big one of that. Mm-hmm.
What was I going to say? Oh, about, the finale when... Or leading up to it where Mark is, like, talking to himself on that. He has that camcorder, which, again, like, it's kind of timeless, right? Like, it's just this camcorder, like, from the early 90s, and he's just, like, able to talk to himself back and forth and, like, having to convince himself, his other self, to, like, get on the same page and do this thing. And it is interesting to me how the innies consider it, like, a death. right? When they're not allowed to come back, right? Because I guess all they know is that waking up in the elevator and then going to sleep in the elevator again, essentially, right? So like your life is literally only in that existence, and so if you never come back to that existence, then you are essentially dead. So convincing him that reintegration is possible, but then like Helena would probably never want to integrate with her any, so like is like leaving her, and then he at the very end, he puts his wife outside the stairs, so she is her outie again, and she has to watch him make this choice to like leave her there and go with this redheaded bitch. Jeez. That poor woman just found out that he was alive 5 minutes ago, and then he's like, bye. It's
crazy.
Rough.
It's an interesting concept. It's very much like anesthesia, where like you just like your brain has an off switch and you don't remember it. To me, it's also like before I was old enough to remember stuff. Like anything I did, like it's only my parents will bring up like stuff when I'm younger, but anything I did before age 4 or 5, it's like a different person, so I don't remember it. So yeah, for people who are obsessed with memory like me, because I have a very good memory, it kind of shows, the memory can be turned off.
Yeah, I mean,
it's also blackout drunk as well. Yes.
I mean, I don't remember everything, even from when I was in my 20s, and not even from being drunk. It's just because like the monotony of life, like you don't remember specific jokes or events or even things you did with your friends, like experiences, until sometimes like I'll talk to like my bestie from childhood, and she'll bring up something we did in like second grade, and like, oh, like it triggers that memory, right? It's tough, but yeah, they don't even have the option to do that. Was that my dog?
There's no trigger,
yeah, unless they're able to. And it is interesting to me also, like when they're doing the reintegration, she doesn't just take the chip out, because I guess that's not an option. Like that might just blow the whole thing, right? So, because even what is his name, Brian, his best friend from the first season.
I thought it was a D, but I don't know. No, it's not Doug.
Petey. It's Petey.
Petey, okay, yeah.
Petey. I put poor Petey so many times. Oh, I'm looking through my notes. I could never work at Lumen for many reasons. But they always have these melon parties, and I'm allergic to melon. So they would kill me, like, if the first day I did something right and they try to feed me melon, because I probably wouldn't remember that. I can't eat it. And then, boom, I had cantaloupe, my throat swells up, and I'm dead. So thanks a lot, Lumen.
Yeah, I guess it shows they're very global. But yeah, melon is not indigenous to the area of Buffalo or Wisconsin they're in.
Yeah. Okay, that is all I had that I explicitly wanted to talk about. What else you got?
I mean, the finale was like perfect television.
Yeah.
Now there is, it was beautiful. That scene's great. Yeah, I want them to have love. Yeah, love Heliar. But what do you call it? There is a thing. There is an issue with the show. Like, can they sustain it? Like, it almost could have been the show, the series finale.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, with these shows, I do try to enjoy them one season at a time, because I don't assume that they have some kind of ultimate thing at the end. That was the problem with Lost. Like, they were cool up to season 5, and then season 6 they went in directions that kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can keep. I think they'll probably have another season or two of doing stuff that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is a level of they probably should only do 3 or 4 seasons. There is limits to all this stuff, and even just them taking time to reintegrate him, and then maybe it's not important. That's a bit there's issues. I think the show was a little more entertaining season 1. Season 2 it did feel like a little bit of filler or world building, but I don't know. Yeah, I could see the show. I think the show should keep it tight.
No, when I first finished it, I assumed that was it, and it was just gonna kind of leave it like that, and I was very okay with it just being left like, they run off into the factory together forever, or whatever. But I did watch some of the like directors' interviews and stuff, and there is going to be another season at least.
It is good. Yeah, like if my father-in-law gets rid of Apple TV and I can't access it, like I may not. Yeah, I'll get. Yeah, like even like what was that one? The robot one, Westworld. Season 2 finale of Westworld felt like good enough, and then I
stopped there.
and they tried to reboot it, and do stuff, and it was weird, and I just, okay, I don't care anymore. It may have gotten better after, but I had already stopped at that point.
Yeah.
And then I lost HBO. It's all, I definitely watch whichever ones are easiest to password share. So Apple TV right now is very easy to password share, so that helped me get into the show.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I didn't even realize I still had it until I was stuck back here sick, and all I had was my iPad, and I was like, oh, I'm still logged in.
Yeah, nice.
I binged all of the Apple TV shows. I watched Loot, which is very funny, and I watched something called Platonic. They're just dumb comedies, and then I found this, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I just watched the whole thing in like 4 or 5 days.
It's interesting. Yeah, I haven't watched. Have you watched Ted Lasso? That's their big show.
Yeah.
Is it good?
I enjoyed it. What is his name? Jason Sudeikis, is that?
Yeah.
His name? I liked him on SNL, right? I always thought he was fun. What's great about Ted Lasso is that it's just that like 2 or 3 seasons, and they planned it exactly like that. Like The Good Place did that as well. They're like, it's only these 3 seasons, and we're ending it, and we're not going to drag it out. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate it when shows do that, because you can tell when they're like, well, we can make another like $20 million if we do another season, and then it like sucks, you know. So
I know Ted Lasso was self-contained. Oh, maybe Apple's more into that, so that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, yeah, good.
It was very cute. You know, I don't know a lot about soccer, but that was kind of like secondary to it, you know. But as someone who has like played sports and stuff, like, the idea of him as this coach and like his approach to coaching was just very wholesome and cute, and like I thought it was very well done. Ted Lasso was a very cute, wholesome, fun, and funny show, I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Friday Night Lights was football, and it was better if you didn't know football, because the football was really bad. The last episode, they make it so obvious they're going to win the championship, and then they win on a Hail Mary, and it's like, that would be so lucky that you even won.
Yeah.
So they're sometimes it can be better not to know too much, because it's not made for hardcore soccer fans.
Yeah. I guess the only thing that is a little off-putting about Ted Lasso is the team owner is like this billionaire woman, and she is very likable and humanized, even though I'm like, we should still probably eat her though, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much. This show is insane. Miss Huang, the child that randomly works there, the second season, and then the end of it, she finishes. It's like an internship, right? Like an internship to get her to go to. It's like a secondary school, a college, whatever. And in the end, Milicic doesn't like her because his performance review, the negative marks were obviously things that she said about him. Like, he uses too big of words. And so he makes her smash this little toy. And it's just one of those little, like, handheld, has a little bit of water in it, and you push the button and the ring goes. And he makes her, like, smash it with, like, a bust of Kier. And which is like, in a lot of ways, it felt like, you know, like destroying her childhood. Like, she is leaving that behind, and she's an adult now or whatever, like very symbolic.
That would have been an insane episode if they did. It was Miss Wong happens to get her first period. She was about that age. And then they have to all deal with that, and they got to find pad. Like, that would have been, you know, the show could lean into a little more comedy sometimes.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. The funniest thing is, I think it's also, the last episode was, like, just jam-packed. Milicic gets in trouble, and he's talking to, I didn't even write the guy's name down on, but it's, like, the big boss guy.
He gets murdered I think he gets murdered later in the episode. Those guys, the character exists to get murdered, but he's really imposing, that guy.
But, yeah, he's huge, right? And Milicic is a big, buff guy, but this guy is, like, towering over him. And he basically, he tells him to apologize. And basically, like, Milicic's always in trouble because he is very verbose and he uses big words. And then he gets so sick of it, he looks him in the eye and he goes, "Devour feculence." And he goes, "And in case you don't know what that means, it means eat shit." And I was like, yes, Milicic.
Yeah, there's a certain, there's an HSBU quality. I think the marching band stuff might have that vibe, and then he's obviously a very educated guy. I would assume, he has a master's, because to get that job, you know what I mean? You know, as the only black guy there, he's probably actually more qualified than a lot of them. Maybe a lot of them works in the company
as always is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and because he's not severed, he gets to keep all of that, which is, I mean, nice for him, I guess. Um, yeah, anything else you got? Oh, the Tempers. That's basically what they're building out of Gemma is all of the different tempers, which are essentially like facets of her emotions. And so they're trying to separate them. And I guess we'll find out in the third season why they want to separate all your emotions out into separate like personalities.
It is confusing because initially they were severed, like they wanted to sever because the work was so secret. Mm-hmm. But then the secretness of the work is actually the severance. So does the company exist to do severance, or is severance a sub thing? And they're trying to kind of figure all that out.
Well, and Lumen makes everything.
Yeah, I do think maybe one more season. Yeah, I mean maybe a season 4, but they should be careful. They did something great, and then those same people could make another show or whatever. But yeah, they should. Yeah, they should focus on an ending because they've already done so much cool stuff, but it is limited how far you can go with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point too. It's like, this is the severance the point, like what is the purpose of Lumen? But like every single thing in there is Lumen branded, right? The coffee machine and the coffee, the vending machine, everything in it, the clock on the wall, the stapler, the paper cutter that she threatens to like cut her fingers off with earlier in it. All of it is like Lumen branded. Like literally they like own the town.
Yeah, there's no other companies. Yeah, the one thing is, if Severance was real and that was their profit source, someone else would figure out how to do it. Because I don't know if I don't know that you can patent a surgery. Someone else, same thing like kind of like America and Russia. Like America was like, well, we got the nukes, and Russia will never figure it out. And then Russia figured it out in like 5 years. There is a thing of if their company's based on Severance, they will get ripped off by another company. I don't know if they're going to introduce another company at some point, or maybe having one company makes it scarier.
I think one company makes it scarier. There's no other options. What are you going to do?
Yeah, there's little talk of government or whatever. I guess there's a senator or whatever, but there's little talk of government. Mm-hmm. Or obviously the way it works, assuming Lumen is this powerful nationally or internationally, Lumen controls the government in a lot of ways. So Lumen is the Kiers or whatever. Yeah, the Egans outrank the government. Maybe they get to pick the president. Oh, the president could be severed. Yeah, that would be another. They could get more seasons if they have the president be severed. A Manchurian Candidate. Maybe that could be a movie. So yeah, there's rooms for spin-off stuff I could definitely think of.
I actually love that idea. Yeah, they have that senator whose wife is severed, only for like giving birth, and like just imagining what that's like for her. Like all you know is these like hours of pain, and then you never even get to like be a mother, like have the baby. Like, oh, that is terrifying.
Yeah, maybe it's a commentary on C-sections. I'll read random books in the library. So yeah, C-sections get really pushed on people and all kinds of stuff like that. So it might be a comment. Yeah, because I would think, maybe they don't have C-sections in this world, but yeah, rather than the whole severance, you could just kind of do a C-section and then you're put. I think they're put under so you wouldn't remember.
Wow. Yeah, you just wake up and you're stapled together and here's your baby. Yeah, rough.
Yeah, that would be interesting, actually. I'm not sure if they do that on any TV show. But yeah, the experience of one waking up after the C-section would be interesting. Yeah, it's something for a dramatic plot.
So if they make Helly get pregnant, they're going to have to go with the C-section plot.
Yeah.
And there's the baby goat sacrifice. That makes no sense. They said the goat was sacrificed to take Gemma, because they were going to kill Gemma, to Kier's door, to guide her to Kier's door, basically as like to take her across the river of Styx or whatever, the river Styx, guide her to the underworld, which is just leads into the like, this is a fucking cult, right? Not only is it like controls the city, controls the government, controls everything, it's Scientology. This whole thing is just an analogy for Scientology.
Oh, yeah, it's very much, very connected to that. Yeah, just animal sacrifice is very connected to Judaism, so I liked that part. The river Styx, obviously not, but yeah. The Judaism, the big thing they did in the big temple is they had animal sacrifices. Up until even around when Jesus was around, if he was real, but whatever, about that time. So the Passover sacrifice, I kind of like connecting it to like the old Abrahamic religions a little bit.
That's cool. I saw something recently that they were doing in Israel, that there was something where they transmit their sins to a chicken and then kill the chicken.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah. Real old school Jews do it. I think they do is you put your sin in the chicken and you like spin the chicken around. Yeah, I mean it's animal abuse. I think a lot of religious stuff is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty old school. I don't think a very high percent of Jews do that anymore. But yeah, that is a thing. And yeah, it's not that probably isn't a Zionist thing per se. That does go back to the religion.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure where chickens come from. I don't know if they had chickens in ancient Israel, Palestine, or whatever. So I'm not sure where chickens come from.
They come from eggs.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, basically they're dinosaurs, right? So they just kind of evolved from. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, maybe they were all around. There's just different stuff that, like, tomatoes aren't indigenous to Italy. They come from the New World.
Right.
Potatoes come from the Andes Mountains. So there is things where, like, if you go back longer when the world was more segmented into different parts where they didn't contact each other, not everyone has every part. Like, like there's no horses in America till the explorers or conquistadors or whatever come over.
Settlers, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Anything else?
Oh no, that's it. I would not get severed. Yeah, I want all my memories. Yeah,
I would not.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't do it. That's also why I'm Rickon. Rickon's not severed. Yeah, I could write a really bad self-help book, but I could not get severed.
I could also write a really bad self-help book. Honestly, maybe that is the left grift that we need to venture into next, just to like fund the revolution or whatever. Like.
A leftist self-help book actually makes sense. Maybe they have them. Maybe even Bernie tried with his book, where it's like it's okay to be upset about capitalism.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the leftists should try to invade that section of the bookstore. It's very popular. You can sort of left pill people a little bit in there. So there is actually room with that to do that.
It's an interesting proposition there, Freddy. Again, Freddy G, definitely a severed name. So I feel like you're already halfway there. So.
I like the separate names, yeah. Like I was Frederick Goldstein in The Office, and then I became Freddie G for the comedy. So yeah, that aspect, the different names I'm into, I just think you should get to remember everything.
Right. If you were severed, would you attempt reintegration, even if it meant basement brain surgery?
I think I'd like to. Yeah, I think I'd want to do it. Yeah. I'd want. It's scary. I mean, I guess I would try to give myself confidence that it worked or whatever. Ideally, Adam Scott goes first. Yeah, Mark is my scout, and then I'll do it. Yeah, if it goes well for him, I think that's probably what Dylan's thinking. If he knows about it, is I'll get it second after see if he survives.
Yeah, right. Because Petey didn't work out so well, but the doctor seems convinced that Mark will be fine. So then, maybe Dylan next, and then you. Go like fourth or fifth in line. Yeah,
it is helpful that okay, well Adam Scott can't die because then the show will be over. So that is helpful. Okay, the surgery's going to work on him. Maybe. He could be Jesus at the end. He could sacrifice himself at the end. I guess realistically, in the last episode, it makes sense for Helly to kill herself. And they hinted in season 1, that was a really cool scene. She attempts suicide to kill her and her other person. But that could be a thing. Someone dying to end the severance.
I mean, she's almost died twice. She tried to hang herself in the elevator, and then Irving tried to drown her in that river or whatever.
Yeah, that is a good bad guy line. Helen is kind of the bad guy of the show, and her first line you heard, Sarah, one of her first is, "I'm a person you're not." That's real good, and that might also be the capitalist class saying to the workers, "I'm a person you're not." So there's a lot. That was very Marxist. That specific part.
Yeah, there's little drips of it here and there. Yeah. All right. Anything you want to plug at the end here?
Oh yeah, at Orange Freddy G. Yeah, I'll keep making those videos. Yeah, I make a lot of videos about Palestine. Put up jokes. If I do future pods and tour dates and stuff like that. All that good stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you're in New York, on Friday, the October 17th, we are roasting Cuomo and Adams to help Zoran a little bit. So if you hear this, if this comes out, then and you hear it, then you can come to that, say hi. But otherwise, there'll always be more shows and at Orange Freddy G.
Hell yeah, a roast sounds fun. All right, well, thanks for being here, and thanks for listening, everybody. Cheers.